Hey everybody, Patton here, welcome back to the channel. It is May 16th and that means that Sega has announced the next 10 games for the Sega Genesis Mini. That brings our total to 30 and I really think you're going to like the choices that they made. Once again, they did a live stream on YouTube for the Mega Drive Mini and the games that came out for the Japanese system. Since it was all in Japanese, I didn't really understand a lot what was going on, but they mentioned something about you can use a phone charger to power the system. And they talked about another accessory I thought was really interesting, but we'll get into that in a minute. First, let's talk about the exclusive games to the Japan Mega Drive. You have Mega Q, which seems to be a quiz style game. Fighting game Yu Yu Hakusho Makyao Toitsuden. The Revenge of Shinobi, which I believe is the second in the series. And Tant R, which is a multiplayer party game for up to 4 players. And this is what I meant by that other accessory. They showed a 4 USB hub that you can plug into the Genesis Mini to use 4 players. It doesn't appear to be a first party accessory, but they say it works on the system. And we didn't get those games over here in the States or on the PAL version of the system, so we probably don't need that USB hub, but it's nice to know that it works. So let's talk about the new games revealed for the European and US systems. Beyond Oasis. Also known as the Story of Thor in the PAL regions, it's an action-adventure game. It was developed by Enchanted and released in the States on March 15th, 1955. You play as Prince Ali, who discovered a gold armlet, which once belonged to a wizard who waged a war long ago with the wielder of the silver armlet. Gameplay is very similar to the Zelda series, except that you can control different elementals to help you solve puzzles within the game. One of the few games on the Sega Genesis I actually have beaten to completion. Highly recommended, I love this choice. Ghouls and Ghosts. Capcom makes their entry onto the system with this awesome but difficult side-scroller. Released September 1989. Featuring Arthur, you are trying to save your girlfriend who is kidnapped by the devil. 6 levels of pure horror, but the game gives you a lot of weapon choices to complete your goal. Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. One of the original side-scrollers for this system released March 20th, 1991. The game features Alex, a monkey boy looking thing who likes to punch enemies and different colored orbs in the stages. The objective is to get as many coins as you can so you can gain new items and vehicles. You can also gamble. Golden Axe. Golden Axe, one of the most popular series on the system. This beat 'em up was released in May 1989. You have the choice of 3 different characters where you're going to jump, slash, charge, and beat down all the enemies, trying to stop you from defeating the Death Adder. The game has a nifty magic system where you collect potions, and the more potions you collect means the more powerful your magic spells are. Some enemies come at you riding monsters which you can then knock off and take for your own. Kids nowadays call these mounts. Phantasy Star 4, The End of the Millennium. Released in February 1995, one of the few RPG series on the system. Set in the distant future, this space-themed RPG has sold many copies and has made a name next to some of the bigger RPGs like the Final Fantasy series and Dragon Quest series. You play as Chaz. You and your allies have to rid the world of a cult leader called Zeo. He apparently is looking to not only destroy Motavia, but the whole Al Gore solar system. Seems to have a very robust story and some neat plot twists. Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition. This well-known series, which was released March 1992 on the Genesis, features not only the 8 initial characters, but the 4 boss characters as well. But wait a minute, the controller only has 3 buttons for the states and PAL regions. Mega Man: The Wily Wars. This is a compilation of the first 3 Mega Man games that were released initially for the Nintendo Entertainment System. They've all been remade with enhanced graphics and music. This one never had a physical release over here in the States, but it did release on the Sega channel December 31st, 1994. I had many of you excited for this one to be released, and you had your doubts, but here it is. Sonic Spinball. From the name you can guess what kind of game this is. Pinball with Sonic. Released November 18th, 1993, this game still has a cult following today. Your objective as the pinball machine is to knock Sonic around and rescue the little animals. Not an easy game at all like most pinball games, but a ton of fun. One of the reasons why I appreciate the Genesis so much is because developers are willing to take ideas like this and turn them into actual games. Sega definitely was not afraid to take chances like this. Vectorman. Released in North America October 24th, 1995, one of the games I was really interested on this system. One of my earliest memories with the system was playing this on a kiosk in Target. Set in the future, the human population of Earth is on a voyage to colonize other planets. They leave the Orbots to clean up the mess they made on Earth. One of those robots goes insane, wielding a nuclear missile, aims to become the ruler of the planet. You play as Vectorman, who takes it upon himself to destroy this robot and restore peace to Earth. Wonderboy in Monster World. Released in February 1992, you play as Cheyenne, who is trying to restore peace to the monster world. Very interesting side scroller I've always wanted to get into with a nice art style. You can run, jump, crouch, and kill enemies with your sword. Love that crouch attack. You can collect money to buy items, speak to townsfolk, and equip a large variety of armor, weapons, and magic. So there you go, 30 of the 40 games have now been announced for the Genesis Mini. I think these next 10 games are a solid addition, with a couple odd ones. Obviously we have Street Fighter with a 3-button controller. Not the best way to play that game. More than likely Sega will allow the 6-button controllers to be available to purchase. I don't know if they will be here in the States, but you can almost guarantee they will be available in Japan. We can probably get those imported. Also, something else I wanted to mention was during the live stream we got to see a border. I don't know if this was intentional or not. There's actually a very nice border. You see Sonic over in the corner, and I like how it kind of blends into the game screen. So let me know what your thoughts on these 10 games are, and what else do you think they could put on the system? They've shown us a solid 30 games so far. I hope they keep this up in the future. I'll do my best to cover the next 10 games when they come out, so I hope to see you then. It appears that the final 10 games will be announced June 4th. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you later.